Hey everyone, this is the final Mandalorian of the season.
Yeah. I like how you started that and I was mid-sip.
I'm Fish, this is Nathan Martin.
Hello.
And, we're here to talk about chapter 8, which was called Redemption.
Yes.
So it was less about reggae than I'd hoped, but anyway. So this is going to be a hard one to review for me because I just feel like a 5-year-old listing off a shopping list of the action figures I want. I want Charon 2D2.
Oh, right.
I want IG-11 really bad. I want Mandalorian with the Mudhorn sigil.
Yep.
Why don't let's do what we always do.
Okay.
Yeah, you go ahead and what did you think of this one?
In what will shock probably absolutely no one, I loved the heck out of this episode.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great follow-up. It felt like a complete follow-up to the previous episode. And it did everything it was supposed to do. One thing I will say is Dune. Cara Dune.
Yeah.
I know that earlier some people online, some critics were like, well, her acting is a little... I thought she did a fantastic job.
Yeah,
I thought she carried a lot of weight in terms of what her character needed to do. And yeah, some of the it's expected dialogue in terms of I'm not going to let you die kind of dialogue. But she did a great job. Everyone did a fantastic job.
Everyone's the best.
I thought everyone did a fantastic job. Directed by Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
So there's the humor beats are right there, but also knows how to get you in the feels. He Terminator 2'd ending the freaking...
So Terminator 2.
Just legitimately. But in the same breath, it was it made sense. All that he needed to do was be the thing that would be okay, Mando... You can trust me. I've proven enough that I can help you. And then at the end, him being wait, I've hated droids this entire season. Is you can't do this.
Yeah, he had this arc, and I love IG-11 saying, "There's nothing to be sad about. I've never been alive." It's just now I know why you cry. It's so
is
T2.
almost exactly
it's so T2, but we love T2, so who cares?
Do you mean my brain? Yes, that was a joke to calm you down.
So he was great. The Baby Yoda rolling the story along was good. There was stuff I had actually almost forgotten about. I didn't expect him to get a rising phoenix, a jetpack. So I was oh yeah, I forgot about that. They kind of it was paint by numbers in a way. But I love his sigil, and I just noticed watching it again. I just thought it was a random shape, but it's actually a mudhorn skull.
Oh really?
Yeah, I look at it again because it just looks like a beautiful little thing. But yeah, but. When I'm gonna call her Sabine. And then Sabine's scene too. I think my favorite part of the whole episode is when she takes out 6 or 7
just sitting there waiting
with a hammer and tongs.
Yeah,
it's this weird communist ideal.
It's surprisingly violent.
Yeah.
I know that the first episode we started off Mando cuts a guy in half using a door.
Not on purpose.
No.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it's mostly laser blasts, and people when she takes out that squad of troopers, that one hit where she bashes and it just explodes, and then she flips the other guy down and she goes like this, and there's more plastic coming up, and I'm just even when IG-11 twists the one scout trooper, and it was just they didn't add extra bone cracking sound effects. It was just enough to him being
Yeah.
But. Yeah, it was really violent.
Yeah, I think that first guy passes out, and then I think he just murders the second guy, just smashing him. And of course, I think in a way, every episode, there's what I've been loving about the show is every episode there's something new. Yeah. And in this one, I loved that we just had just that he chose to have this super long extended biker scout conversation.
Oh my god!
And they're just they're these scumbags, and you kind of like them, but then they're punching
I know.
Baby Yoda, and you got to remember they just murdered Queel and everything like that, so they're bastards, but it was nice to kind of get to know some of the bad guys, just see the day to day in that. Yeah, and that was a really funny choice, just to because I think that scene is 5 or 6 or maybe longer.
A good chunk, yeah.
It's really long, so love that. Moff Gideon was great.
So good.
Yeah, he's really, really good. I love how fearlessly he sort of walked into the fray. It's looking like, oh, they're being taken out, but he just walks in and he just finds the exact spot on Mando, shoots him, knocks him over, Mando grabs the big gun, and then he's a great video game player. He just blows up the box.
There's a red barrel somewhere in the scene that I must hit.
So I mean that was amazing. And then of course like the darksaber at the end, which comes right out of the Clone Wars cartoons, because that's what the Mandalorians a lot of them had those, and that's how they were able to kind of like fight the Jedi, because those things will stop like
they're sort of like the anti-light, like the defendable lightsaber, because it's clearly at first I'm like black lightsaber, but it's not a lightsaber because you can see that it's a physical blade that he's got in his hand.
Yeah.
So, but they've added that sort of lightsaber effect to the sword.
Yeah.
And it obviously does some of whatever a lightsaber can do. But initially I was like, ah? And then when he was standing on top of the TIE Fighter at the end, you can physically see that, this is not a lightsaber. This is actually a physical sword that he has in his hand.
You know, the people out there will know this. I can't remember if they retract the same way.
Oh,
I think they do, but I might be wrong about that. But minor detail. And I don't know. What else we got?
I don't know. It just all in all,
great,
great ending to the season. I think there's only really one unanswered question that we have, which was in Chapter 5, the gunslinger, when Ming-Na Wen's character is approached by a shadowy figure.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the Moff.
No, I don't think it's him either.
I don't think it's Gideon.
We really do feel like that's Boba Fett. We're still kind of holding out for that, because it's like, we talked about this last week, but it's like if you have a show called The Mandalorian and you can throw Boba Fett into it, that'd be great.
You're gonna do that.
And and this sort of that brings me back to like we finally had the childhood revealed, and they're very Fett looking. I mean, it's slightly off, like it's a different blue slightly, but they do look Fetty, but. But and they're all from this one clan, like they all have the same sigil, and again I love Sabine's like you're a clan of two, like, just so good, man.
It's really good. The I can't wait for season 2. I still am holding up that I think they're gonna bring back Bill Burr and the trio of terror.
Yeah, for sure.
I really do think that they're going to bring back Ming-Na Wen, because that whole episode was basically setting up this badass of badassery to just be shot in the gut and sort of left. I'm like, nah, that's not. She's coming back as a character in the second season.
You'll prove me wrong if that happens. Yeah.
The baby getting much better at using his powers, not feeling so tired.
Yeah.
Once he's done.
Yeah.
Like that whole holding back the flame, and then he kind of just like he does pass. He just falls down on his back, but he's clearly getting used to the thing.
And he's becoming a little murderer.
Yeah.
Which is sort of sad, but I mean, he's saving his life.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like he did basically burn that guy to death. But I mean, the guy was trying to.
He was trying to burn them. I mean, come see, comes up.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. I don't know. I mean, I just
do the thing with the hand. Do the hand thing.
Oh yeah. What is that? Hey, let's make the baby do the magic hand thing.
Baby, and he even held up the three fingers,
and then he just waved. That was so great.
Was like, okay. And I was like, oh god.
So I mean, we love it. You know, I think my favorite episode was the penultimate one, just because I like it when things turn dark, like just where they're stuck in the bar. Like they got out, it was very satisfying and everything. But I mean, like and then of course I've seen like Rise of Skywalker 3 times, so my head is just like so full of Star Wars. Like, basically brain dead. But you know, I mean, looking back at the whole thing, like, what a good show.
Yes.
Like, and so we're just thrilled to.
They had a plan.
Yeah. And they really did.
Yeah, they knew where they were going. Tonally, none of the episodes really shifted too far out of what was initially set up in the first episode. Seeing it all again after the finale, you can tell, like, nope, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah. And
here's where we are, and this is where it's going to end, leading into a second season, and I can't wait. I think that I love the fact that we have an established villain.
Yeah.
We have an established point for what the Mandalorian is going to do. I'd be fascinated to see, like, if he ever gets to Yoda world.
Yeah, or what that's all about, or is, you know, like, obviously it's not reincarnated Yoda, because Yoda's a ghost. So, but all these questions, but it did tie it up nicely, and I think you know, we can't say enough good about it.
There's episodes that you can have quibbles with throughout the season, but nothing to me that actually, nothing that takes me away.
Yeah, and I really love that we're moving forward from Return of the Jedi, and now we're gonna like sort of see these hints of the First Order starting and all this.
Yeah, I
it's
really like that too. Oh, that was another thing. The whole, the whole conversation that she has with Mandalorian about, like, I want to see the child. Like, show me the thing that we're all doing this stuff for.
Yeah.
And he shows her, and she tells this story about how, they used to be called Jedi, and she makes the Jedi, and he's like, so they were bad? And he goes, well, this one isn't.
Yeah.
I was like...
Yeah, that was really interesting. We were talking about that the other day, too, my friends and I, and we're sort of like, the world seems to have utterly forgot about the past, and I mean, that just shows the success of the Empire at propaganda.
Yeah.
And it's probably like a Russia thing where you don't talk about things you're not supposed to talk about. So I mean, it's interesting. I kind of didn't like that when Force Awakens came around, but now I keep seeing it, and I'm like, I kind of buy it. Like like even the way reporting on how many fans hated The Last Jedi is so wrong that I believe it. I think misinformation is really possible,
Yeah, this show really tells you that no, the galaxy has forgotten what Jedi are. Like to them, they never existed.
Yeah,
and I find that the way that they laid that out in this 8-episode series, I think was done far better than any of the films have.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's apples and oranges and everything, but I mean, like I love that Din Djarin, by the way, is his name. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, so Din Djarin, but I'm still want to call him Mando. But the idea, he's like, deliver it to a race of enemy sorcerers. Like the way they talk. Anyway, such good writing. See you next year.
See you next.
Honestly, it's been a pleasure to do these with you. So
it's been a blast. We would have basically, this was all his idea. He's like, instead of talking about this at our desks, do you want to just talk about it in front of a camera?
Yeah, we should work. You know what I mean? Anyway, so this is the way.
This is the way.
I have spoken.